Car dealerships are the worst. The process of buying a car is so painful, it takes forever, and nobody enjoys it. And fun fact, we'll introduce Josh here in a second, but fun fact, do you know that the average person believes they got an above average deal on their last car negotiation? And statistically, all but 50% of them are wrong, because that's how averages work. I got Josh West, 24/7 here with me. He sold cars for a long time. Very successfully, top-ranked salesman for some period of time. I'll let him explain that, but let's get into it. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So let's start with, how good at selling a car were you?
Well, we sold a lot of cars. I was about 17 years in the industry. I did about 3 years managing, running a dealership, started a used electric vehicle department as well that ended up being very successful, to the point where local newspapers were calling up our dealer principal and saying, hey, can you tell us, why does a Chrysler dealership have 40 used Teslas and 30 Nissan Leafs in stock? And so of course they put them over to me, and hey, well, we saw the light early on, and it's interesting. Ever since then, I've been kind of spreading the word to say, hey, direct sales is on the way. It's not going away. It's only going to grow, and companies like Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid are really paving the way for manufacturers. And now manufacturers, we're starting to see change now with Honda, with the release of their new brand Afeela, as well as Volkswagen now has introduced Scout with the direct sales model as well. So lots of change.
And we saw Cadillac warning their dealers, this is coming. If you don't like it, we'll cash you out right now.
We will pay you to stop being a dealership.
We'll purchase back your franchise, but just know that if you stay on board, you've purchased a Tesla before. From the time you get there to the time you get out the door with your car, how long did it take?
So how long did it take? It took just a few minutes, because I purchased my Tesla 10:30 in the morning, sitting on my sofa, and it was all done online. Who's this guy?
I have no idea. Ma'am, how long does it take the average car transaction if it's at a dealership?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So what we hear is, it is the hostage situation, where you go in for that test drive, then they want to take your driver's license and credit card and not let you leave until you bought a car. So it could be hours. And sometimes these events turn into days, because people like to shop from dealer to dealer to dealer, and go on and on and on through multiple levels, multiple offices. And even when you think you bought the car, you're going to end up getting transported to the F&I office, where you're going to be sold some additional warranties and paint protection and rust proofing and all the rest of the goodies that they like to add on.
Justin, the bearded Tesla guy, has shown up here in Chattanooga.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of bird that is.
That's a bald eagle.
That is a bald eagle, my friend. There was
right?
two, now
But
there is
it a
one.
falcon? I don't see the white head. Is the
Oh,
problem.
because the bald
it could
eagle
be a
was on
female?
a different tree
It's
than
massive.
that one.
It could be
It's
be
got the
leaning
right-
over.
It's got the right feet.
It's got the right
Incredible.
feet, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Incredible.
but what would you say the average is from the time the person walks in the door at a Toyota, GM, whatever?
At bare minimum, you're going to be 4 hours.
I would
bare
agree.
minimum.
I would agree. I've managed to buy a car in 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe I got out of there as easy as I did.
Absolutely.
Truly, genuinely painful. I go into a Ford dealer and you go into a Ford dealer, same city, same day.
Yep.
What is the maximum difference in price that you and I paid for the same
Thousands and thousands. I mean, we could literally rub shoulders and have bought the same truck, same color, same option, same spec, but maybe you're a little better negotiator than I am. Maybe they just liked your goatee better than mine and lack of one. And they decided, you know what, we're going to give this guy Brian an extra $1,500. We're going to step up on his trade. Maybe I didn't do my due diligence on my trade-in, and I just got lowballed. And I just went along with it. And they put the ACV, which is the actual cash value, as a higher amount in the back end of the deal, increased the profit margin for them. So they showed me 10 grand, but it's actually worth 15. They picked up an extra 5 grand in profit on the deal.
You have to go back to car sales tomorrow. It's a new law. Where would you go? Would you go Legacy? Would you go Tesla? Would you go Rivian?
Yeah, I mean, I really love the teams at Tesla and Rivian. I actually met a few of the guys that are working in sales at Lucid as well. it's a totally different approach, completely different approach as far as being an employee. So I have a cousin that works in Tesla in the sales, and he really enjoys it. He loves it. And he actually worked in Nissan previously. He says it's a completely different world. Your compensation structure is different. Your incentive structure is different fundamentally. In the dealership world, your main goal is to extract the most amount of profit you possibly can from that buyer. When you're dealing with Tesla, you're just there to help them find the right color. Maybe you want to send them on a test drive, answer a few technical questions, show them how to do the paperwork.
All right, here we go. Rust proofing. Is it real?
Well, listen, most new cars now are aluminum, so aluminum doesn't rust. I have got it in the past. Would I get it again? Probably not.
Okay. Extended warranty.
That depends. So heck, I sold Chrysler vehicles. So yes, get all the warranty you can. But no, it depends on what you're paying, because that was another pain point, is that there wasn't set pricing. You can have the same person paying $1,500 to top up their warranty, or you could have that same warranty being sold for $3,500. So which is the right way? Maybe at $1,500 it makes sense, but at $3,500, no way.
Right. When I bought a 325 convertible that was only maybe 5 years old at the time, I bought the extended warranty, and baby, did I get my mileage out of that, because I went through 2 or 3 water pumps. They were they were plastic at the time. It was terrible.
It all depends. And the thing is, it's a roll of the dice, because I bought extended warranties and never used it. And then, and the warranty's funny. An extended warranty's hilarious. So it's the one product you buy that you're hoping your thing is going to break. Oh man, if this vehicle could just break down and blow a couple of water pumps, then I'll get my money's worth. It's actually hilarious when you think about it.
I feel the same way about pinatas.
Does the average 325 owner get his money's worth on an extended warranty?
Yeah, we've got Justin doing some high quality research in the back.
That's right.
Jamie, pull
It's
up that
fact-checking.
monkey video. So you were very good at it. Why'd you stop?
I saw the light. Well, so here's the difference. The industry's changed fundamentally. I noticed the winds of change blowing it really strongly in 2017. And it's actually, I didn't find out until 2022 that was actually peak of legacy automotive retail sales.
Oh.
And it's funny because I remember distinctly going into my general manager's office and saying, this is not sustainable. How everything's going down, how everything's happening, the sales, the way we're selling, how we're selling, the stockpiling of inventory, the crazy rebates, everything that was happening. I was like, man, there's no way this can last. There was a whole bunch of internal weird stuff happening as well with employee programs, all this other kind of crazy stuff. So without going too deep into it, I just really felt that it was not sustainable, and turns out it wasn't. But what really pushed me was ordering my own Tesla and realizing you can go through the entire car buying experience without even talking to a human. You can do your credit application, you can upload your driver's license, you can get your insurance in order, you can track your order through the phone, through the app, and then just show up at the location. That same order in your app becomes your key. You walk up to the car, it says, "Welcome, Josh." On the screen, you can do a tutorial video, and then you can drive away. So what are we doing with all these salespeople and dealerships and sales managers and F&I managers and all the other accoutrement that comes with that? I don't know. It just seems like all the money, all the profits that are being paid in commissions to the salesperson, the floor manager, the sales manager, the general sales manager, the dealer principal, all of that money, if you're doing direct sales, can now go to the manufacturer as profit, or it can go to the consumer as a lower price point. And so these companies, the legacy companies that are sticking with the dealership network, they have this ball and chain of that ball of money, that bundle of money that's on every single sale has to be dealt with. But the problem is their competition, Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid, don't have that. So over time, as those companies grow and become profitable like Tesla has, well, how do you compete with that? You got to get rid of them. You got to end up playing ball on their field, because Tesla fundamentally changed the game in automotive sales.
Now, the fun thing is, when I got my car, I drove. We were so excited, we just kept driving. And then I realized we're not going to make it home. I got to hit a supercharger, and I haven't set up my account. So I plug it in, and it works.
Interesting.
It's the card I use to make my deposit.
Wow, they've already set it up.
They've already set it up. I've already got an account on a card on file.
Yep.
Magic.
But that's just a software solution. They've
Yes.
solved so many issues that normally took pencil pushers or people running around, and they've just solved it with software.
Now, Here's the thing that I noticed is, as good as you were at sales, you appear to have a soul. How's that possible?
Not a Kia Soul.
So you have a Kia soul. So
Yes.
you have a soul. Was it?
Do you have a soul?
How do you reconcile that with being really good at selling cars?
So, well, listen, at the end of the day, in order to be a fundamentally good salesperson, you need to be solving a problem. You need to be helping somebody. And I genuinely really enjoyed that was the biggest thing for me in sales was the people, building those relationships. I've been out of the business for 4 years that I left, and my phone still rings. Hey Josh, we're ready to get a new car. Want to come down and see it? And I'm like, not only do I not work at the dealership, I've left the industry. I don't even live in the same country anymore, but I still have some contacts, so I refer them to some people that I trust.
To somebody you trust.
Exactly. And so it was those relationships that I built over time. I actually have several great friendships that I still have because they were, became customers. And so that was the thing that was the biggest sort of payoff for me personally. But your incentive structure, I guess, is the thing that I have, the biggest issue with is that, the reason, all the things that people hate about car dealerships all boils down to how they're incentivized. Mm-hmm. It's what are you rewarding the staff to do? And that's really what it comes down to is all, going to that other office and taking a long time. And these are all strategies and tactics that dealerships do to try and extract the most amount of money they can rather than having a set price and boom, 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 boom. And Saturn, if you remember the brand Saturn, they tried at once upon a time of having set pricing. So throughout everywhere you went, this was the price, there's no negotiation, it just is what it is. The reason why that failed is because they were using a dealership network where you have independent bodies who were trying to get that deal. And so they would break the rules or they would throw in additional, coverages or accessories or whatever, some sort of value add. Here's a barbecue, here's a cell phone, whatever, to try and get you in to get that car. And so you just ended up with the same problem because fundamentally it boils down to you have independent dealers. They don't care about the manufacturer. They care about themselves. The dealer principal doesn't own GM. They really couldn't care how much money that GM makes on the vehicle. They care about how much money XYZ Chevy dealership is making.
How many used car salesmen have you met who had a drug problem?
Wow.
And I mean like
a lot.
Might as well be a percentage.
And listen.
Is it half?
There's a lot. We had a guy, I'll tell you this. We had a guy that was so bad. He would go to the mechanics bay and take cans of brake cleaner and then go into the men's restroom and turn them upside down. So he was huffing the gas, not the cleaner itself, but the gas from in the can to get high. It was very, very, very sad and very heartbreaking.
Wow, that's tough.
There's serious issues for sure, but I don't know that that's the industry's fault. But it tends to be,
it's an industry where you can make big money quick if you're good.
Yes, and then there's different ways of being good. There's sustainably good, and that because we would have salespeople that would roll through, they'd be gone in 3 months because somebody would be coming back, because of all the problems of this. Right, empty promises, oh sir, this and that. We had guys collecting cash for licensing when the licensing was already included in the deal. And all of a sudden they had a new suit.
That's a crime. That's fascinating. I appreciate when we saw the situation in Canada where Tesla blew through all the incentives in a weekend, and people were saying you physically can't sell cars that fast.
Yeah.
And without going into all the numbers, I'm saying if you think it takes 4 hours to buy a car, you're buying your car from the wrong place.
Well, here's the thing. So as a dealership, we collected for rebates as well. So the way that those rebates worked in Canada was, for us, we would reconcile, I think it was either twice a month or once a month. So we would get all the sales and then our controller would then submit for all of the sales to claim that rebate money back. The dealership was out that money. At any given time, just our one store, we could be out $300,000-$400,000 because we had allowed the customer to leave, showed the rebate on the bill of sale, but we had not received that funding from the government because she would do bulk submissions to claim that money back. So to me, when I hear, Tesla submitted for all these vehicles, well, of course, but that could have been a month's worth of sales. Yes. It wasn't that day. It wasn't like we sold the car that day and we applied that day. You can't even apply on, for example, a Sunday because the government's not open. So what about the vehicles they sold on the Sunday? They're open 24 hours a day. You can order it on your phone. doesn't mean anybody had to get off their sofa and go in.
Right.
So there's just a lot more nuance to that whole story that people who haven't worked in the automotive industry, they're just completely clueless to. And so it's a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, Tesla fraud, rah, 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 rah. You don't even know what's going on.
Before you ask that next question, I just need you to hold this.
Uh-huh.
Keep going.
What are we looking at?
Bearded Tesla guy, subscribe. That is, I don't think that's him.
No,
Well, that's Brock's version.
he's not nearly as handsome.
It took 3 prompts to get that, all right?
I've done more than 3 of mine, and I'm always Asian. So, guys, what did we miss?
Future Asian.
Future Asian.
I
Guys,
love
what
it.
did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it. And this is only fair because you see what happened is when Justin went to the Arctic, he brought my face.
He did.
I was in the vehicle. I was in
left-
both trucks,
I left you up there, too.
and I deserved it. I
Yeah.
had it coming. So, guys, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? Leave it into them comments below. Head over to Josh West 24/7. See what he's up to. I'll put a link to his X and his YouTube in the description below, of course. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.